Hey guys, what's up? This is Francisco with Valareso Capital, and today we're gonna go through the weekly watch list for the week of March 28, 2022. And today I have a couple of names that I want to share with you guys. Remember that this video is just for informational purposes only. It's based on my personal opinion and it's not financial advice. So now that we got that out of the way, let's start taking a look at some charts. We're gonna go through some names on the GDX, which is the miners ETF. We're gonna take a look at TAN, which is the ETF for solar names. We're gonna take a look at XLE, XME, and then we're gonna take a look at some other names in the tech industry, which I think that are outperforming some of the other names in the tech industry, and I think that they're worth a shot to the long side. So let's start quickly here. As you can see right here on my screens, I have the Nasdaq Composite, ticker symbol CEIX in trading view, and we can see that we had this bear trap right here at the bottom. We had a really strong move to the upside, and now we move about that 50 daily moving average, which is the purple line that I have in my charts. And after a really strong rally, we can see that we're finding some resistance at that 14,225, 250 level, that 14,250 level. And what I'm actually looking about, perhaps we move higher into next week. There's a huge level of resistance right here at 14,500, which is the previously level at which we failed before the really strong pullback that we had in the last couple of months. So actually what I'm not looking to chase anything above these levels. I think that we already had a really strong rally. Based on seasonality, next week tends to be a little bit bearish for stocks. So I think that in my style of trading, which I'm usually looking for exhaustion, I'm usually looking to buy support levels. I'm going to wait for a pullback. I think there's a high probability that we're going to get a pullback into that 50 daily moving average. Perhaps we're going to get a cross of the 21 exponential moving average above that 50 day. And I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for a pullback. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but I'm going to be patient and wait for that possibility, because I think that pullback is going to offer the best opportunities for us swing traders to position right and look to get the best risk reward for our trades. So now that we took already a look at the market, let's start going through some of the names. First, let's start with the GDX. Well, the names that are part of the GDX. I'm going to start with gold here, which is Barrick Gold. And basically, we're just going to go a little bit fast through these names. They're kind of similar on the setups, and we can see, we kind of this kind of a cup and a handle. And what I really like about this name is that as soon as we tested this high, we pull back. And where did we pull back? Right here into that 21 exponential moving average. The 21 exponential moving average is actually supporting price. We can see here that we move below it and we instantly got an undercut, a rally of that moving average, and we close above it. Then we retested it the next day, and now we're moving higher. Kind of a little shelf here. If you're more of a breakout trader, you can wait for the breakout of that shelf, or perhaps you can use this 8 exponential moving average as your selling guide, and you can start getting your position somewhere here, have a tight stop above the moving average, and look for a breakout in this name. Now let's move into the next watch, which is FNB, Franco-Nevada. And we can see that the pattern is kind of similar, We kind of have this double bottom here. We have this top. We have this kind of a double top here. We actually had a really strong move to the downside. Where did it stop? Right at that 21 exponential moving average. And we can see that volume has been pretty low as we consolidate up just below that high. So this one is looking pretty nice. I think that even if you buy it here, I think you can use that 21 exponential moving average as your selling guide. That way you can keep your risk really tight. And I'm basically looking for us to move above this level right here, which is somewhere around 160, and then eventually continue into new high territory. Now let's take a look at GFI, and this is kind of an outperformance, We can see that both of the names that we take a look at before, they were trading below the breakout pivot, and GFI is already trading above the breakout pivot. So that really calls my attention here. And basically, if you get your position as close to that 21 exponential moving average, I think that you can use this 14.90 level as your selling guide, and then be looking for this to kind of, right, we kind of have a pennant pattern here, and be looking, and I'll be looking for a continuation of this move higher. Now let's move into kind of I actually have a software name here. So let's take a look at PanW, which is one of the names in the IGB. And I actually think this is one of the names that is actually outperforming many of the other names, right? We can see that we have this base here. We kind of have this double bottom. We had a failed breakout in good volume, to be honest. And then what happened? We tested that 50, then we tested that 50 again, and now we got a really strong move to the upside. And look at the volume that is coming into this name. I think that if you're really patient, the best course of action here is that if you missed it completely, wait for a retest of that pivot. If you don't get a retest for that pivot, at least wait for this 21 exponential moving average to catch up with price. Perhaps we're going to flag into that exponential moving average, and then you can use that 21 exponential moving average as your entry point and your selling guide. So that one's looking pretty nice. Now let's take a look at some of them. This is one of the names. This is actually the only name that I'm looking in the TAN ETF, which is the solar ETF. And this one is looking pretty nice, right? This is SETG. And you can see here that we're trading just below this 338.47 pivot. And this one is shaping actually pretty nice, right? We can see that we kind of have this kind of bottoming pattern right here. We had this higher low, pretty amazing volume, pretty amazing move right above that 50 daily moving average, that 21 exponential, that 8 exponential. And now we got a pretty strong move above that 200 daily moving average, really nice volume coming in. And we're just flagging, right? We're flagging with that 21 exponential moving average serve as support. So I think that you can actually do this. You can try this one as a breakout trade above that 38.47. Or if you want to wait, maybe perhaps we get another opportunity at that 8 exponential moving average, and then you can use this 21 exponential moving average as your selling guide. But this one is looking pretty nice as well. And now let's move into the XLE. These are some of the names in the energy sector that I'm taking a look at. And basically Chevron here, which is CEIX, very strong move. Look at the volume coming into this name, right? Basically just straight up all the way. And as soon as the rubber band got really extended, what happened? We actually had a pullback. And the first pullback is coming right here into that 21 exponential moving average. And we can see that, right, volume is starting to decrease a lot. Good volume bars in the green days. So this is actually pretty constructive, right? What is the pivot here? Right, pivot right here in 174, kind of extended for my taste, right? I don't like this gap between price and that 21 exponential moving average. And you can see that we haven't tested that 21 exponential moving average. So I think if you want to be really opportunistic with this name, you wait for a test of the 21 exponential moving average, or perhaps you can try a breakout and then use that 8, which is the orange line right here. You can use this 8 as your selling guide for your stop loss. I think that might be a really nice opportunity. Now let's move into another of these energy names. This is BPT, and this one is looking really nice, right? Of course, in hindsight, the best buying opportunity came at that 50 daily moving average, but of course that was just before earnings, and earnings is kind of a flip coin, kind of the flip coin of the flip coin, right? Because you have zero idea how to do it, and there's no way that you can manage risk. There's no way that you can manage risk after or before the announcement, only if you have a profit cushion, perhaps, but that is actually not my kind of style. But you can see that 50 daily moving average serve as support. We had a kind of a B recovery, and most of the times that those B recoveries is better to wait. And you can see that 8 exponential moving average serve as support, nice volume, and you can wait, right? We can wait for a handle. Maybe this is already the handle, but I think that you can treat it as a breakout, but then you have to be really tight with your stop. In my personal opinion, I prefer to wait for this 21 exponential moving average to catch a little bit. Perhaps we are going to flag into that 21, and then I will use that 21 as my selling guide and my entry point. Now let's take a look in some of the names that I have in the XME, which is the metals ETF, and we can see that BTU one, right? One of the strongest names here, right? We can see that as soon as we broke out, we have tested this 21 exponential moving average twice, which in my opinion tends to be the best entry in a momentum stock, because this is a place where you can manage risk, where you can look for a nice pullback, and you can have some really nice risk reward trades, as you can see that we had here. Now, in my opinion, BTU perhaps kind of similar to BPT that we just take a look at, kind of a V-shaped recovery. I think that you could be patient, wait for this 21 exponential moving average to catch a little bit. Perhaps we're going to get a handle, and then you can treat it as a breakout trade. Now let's take a look at MP, right? An MP, right? Really strong move that we saw last week, right? Nice volume coming in, really strong move to the upside. Love this candle right here. See this candle right here with the dot? That is signaling that we had a really strong day on volume, but at the same time, most of the momentum throughout the day was on the positive side. So I really like that. That candle proves, well, that candle suggests that there is a high probability that this breakout trade right here is here to stay. And we can see that the base in MP, right? This base in MP have been a multi-month base all the way through March. As you know, the saying, the longer the base, the higher the breakout. So I think this one has to be on your radar, especially if you're a breakout trader, kind of a canceling trader. Try to wait for that pullback as close to the pivot 51.77. I think that you have to be patient with this one, because if you chase it here, your risk reward is going to be a little bit skewed to the losing side. So just wait a little bit patient. I think that if this is actually a breakout, we're going to have so many opportunities to trade MP right here. So have it on your watch list. Don't think that you just missed it. There are going to be more opportunities in this name, in my opinion. Now let's move into CEIX, and kind of the same thing, right? Amazing breakout, right? You can see here, this is a textbook cap and handle, right? You have the handle here, you can put the smokes here, right? Make it a cup. But yeah, you have the cup here, you have the handle, you have the pullback coming into that 21 exponential moving average. We actually came a little bit below it. And what I think is really interesting here is that, right, we have this V-shaped recovery, nice volume. I think that you should wait for the pullback. That way you can get the best risk reward in terms of your money. And if this breakout is here to stay, we're going to have many opportunities to trade this name. But this one is looking really nice to the upside as well. So those are kind of the names that are on everyone's radar, right? The names in GDX, in TAN, XLE, XME. And now let's talk about some of the big mega caps, some of the bigger names that I'm watching. So first here I have Amazon. Of course, as you can see, completely different chart, right? We're trading below the 200 daily moving average. But what I really like about Amazon, first of all, of course, we have the split news. That is going to happen in some months from now. So I don't know if that is already having an effect on the price. But, right, what I like about Amazon is kind of this double bottom, right? We actually undercutted this one right here. So that's actually pretty strong. And what I like about Amazon is that we are already above that 50 daily moving average. Of course, we are finding some resistance at the 200. And I think if we want to be really opportunistic with Amazon, look at this gap that we have right here between price and that 21 exponential moving average and that 50. If we get a pullback somewhere around this area, I think that's going to be a really nice opportunity to get some long positions on Amazon. Now let's take a look at NVIDIA. And NVIDIA, kind of the same look, right? Outperforming Amazon, in my opinion, and outperforming many of the names, especially because of the volume, right? Look at the volume that is coming into NVDA. I think NVDA, if we are going to have a sustained uptrend, I think NVDA is going to be one of the liquid leaders, and you need to have it on your watch list, right? We kind of have this double bottom right here. We have a pivot right here at 240 to 85.95. And I think that, of course, really strong move from the downside, right? Somewhere around a 30% move, I think. Let's just take a quick look, right? If we go to this low, to this high, this was a 33.84% move. So what a move, right? And I didn't catch any of it. I actually tried a short in NVIDIA right here, and I got squeezed in this bar right here. But I'm actually looking for NVIDIA to the long side only. And if we get, right, if we get a pullback somewhere between this gap right here, perhaps this 21 exponential moving average is going to catch up with price a little bit, I'll be looking for an opportunistic entry somewhere near that 21 exponential moving average. And then, of course, anticipating a breakout and perhaps a move all the way up here to 310 to 320. So this one is a name that I think it has to be on your watch list. I think that this volume coming is a changing character. And what is most amazing is that we have this cross of the 21 exponential moving average above that 50-day. And this one is looking really nice. And I think there's going to be tons of opportunities to trade NVIDIA, at least perhaps for a test of this 340 level. Perhaps we're just preparing to make that right side of a base, and I think there's going to be some really nice opportunities to play NVIDIA all the way up there. So have that one on your watch list. Now let's take a look at Square. And right, Square is looking right. Of course, it's trading way below, right? It's not an outperforming stock, but let me tell you what I like about Square. First of all, if we're going to have a short squeeze in the ARK ETF, which is RKK, this is the only name that I'm watching, right? And the reason that I'm watching Square is because I think it's the only name in the ARK ETF, well, of the biggest holdings that is actually trading above that 50, right? We can see that we tested this 50, we pulled back, we actually made a higher low here, we broke out on volume, and now we're trading above that 50 daily moving average. I think that if you get an opportunistic entry anywhere between this 21 exponential moving average and this 50 daily moving average, is going to be an amazing opportunity to anticipate a breakout of this level and perhaps a move much higher, since this is a heavily shorted stock, because our ETF is a heavily shorted ETF, as we know. So this one is looking pretty interesting. And then finally, I'm having a close look to ABGL, one of the names that I think that has been outperforming. We can see that the stock market was correcting, and what did ABGL did? It basically traded sideways, huge signs of accumulation. You just have to take a look at those bars. And this one is one that is on my radar, right? If you're a breakout trader, perhaps you already have a position, perhaps you're using the 614 as your selling guide. In my opinion, I prefer to wait for a retest of the pivot. Perhaps this 21 exponential moving average is going to catch up a little bit with price. And I'm actually looking for ABGL to test these highs here, somewhere around 680. But of course, remember that you have to get your position as close to the point of validity as possible. Myself, in my style of trading, that point of validity is usually the 21 exponential moving average or the 50 daily moving average. So those are the names that I have for you guys. I think there's going to be tons and tons of opportunities. Price action, as we're seeing, is suggesting that we're going to get a sustained uptrend coming. It can last for weeks, for months. Who knows how long it's going to last? But remember, trade the charts that are in front of you. And if we are going to have a sustained uptrend, remember that we're going to have pullbacks along the way, right? It doesn't mean that price is just going to go straight up. We're going to have pullbacks. We're going to have days in which the market is going to be down. So remember, your entry point is your best defense in the market, because it's the only way that you can manage risk in a way that risk reward ratio is working on your favor. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Let me know what names are you guys watching, and of course, share it with your friends and leave any names that you want me to check about right there in the comments. So thank you so much, guys, for watching. Cheers and goodbye.